old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds is broken in the head. People not seeing reality has put them in the red. Where conscious and spirituality been stricken from the norm and replaced with the ignorance of basic magnetic form. The geometry of God keeps running through his head. That's what makes old man builds broken in the head. The old man builds. The old man builds. Spheres of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time, battling the establishment for just a little recognition. Has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to instead. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds.
Hello everyone, my name is Nathan, otherwise known as Old Man Builds. Guys, we're going to be talking over Unity today. What's going on? Man, we're going to rock this thing out. So, what exactly is over Unity? You see, that's a big question I think I have, and I think everybody else does too. Some people say, well, you don't need to loop it back. Some people say it's required to loop it back. And then there's others that say, you're not even using the primary circuit in order to produce the energy. Or not produce, I should say, in order to produce the over Unity portion of it. It's coming out of the air itself. So what do you think about it? I mean, to me, it's simple. If you cannot run it back through the machine to produce its own energy to run it, it'll never be over Unity. Well, simply because you didn't create the Unity in the first place, right? I mean, that's pretty simple, right? You know that the gauges will tell you that it's over, but that's not exactly running itself, is it? So is it that hard? You simply just have to put a bypass in there, right? I mean, we're not asking for a whole lot here. We're just simply asking for, hey, can you put a switch in there that allows you to run from the circuit that you started from? Now, which part of that circuit you pull it from is all your discretion. But you're going to have to run it through the same thing in order to create an over Unity. So first step is it has to be Unity. Now, no one really cares what the gauge says. Let me just be honest with you. I see a lot of experiments out there that I know could be over Unity. I know some of them that I see the gauges on it may also be over Unity, but they can't run themselves. So either the gauge itself is wrong, or we're not knowing how to do it right yet. And that's kind of what I'm looking at here. He says Earth is flat starting right away. Not a chance, buddy. Not a chance. All right. So, to me, over Unity is this. Simply have to have a system where its primary running circuit will be able to create enough energy to run it in the loop. That's all right. Now, if you have a secondary part of that circuit that can be pulled from it and run the machine again, I'm good with that as well. It doesn't always have to be the primary. It could be the secondary part of the circuit. So what do I mean by that? It is fairly simple. We can say the primary running circuit can run the whole thing, and then I'm actually going to pull the energy that I want to use for everything to come out of the air itself. I just want to create something that's able to pull in the energy from the atmosphere, and that's going to be where I'm going to pull my over Unity from, and that's where I'm going to run my primary runner. And you go, well, okay, that's acceptable. That's good. It shows that you have more energy in the system than what you originally created. Now, one thing that I will tell you in doing this, anytime you plug into the wall, it's good to use the energy from there, but it's ultimately just a bad sign. And let me tell you why. You want to put a switch in this to convert, but the energy from the wall is continuous. There's no limit to it. It never degrades. The battery does. So why is a battery better for over Unity than anything else? Well, eventually you're going to pull the primary battery or the wall circuit from the whole thing. So why would it matter in the beginning? You're never going to balance your system with the wall circuit power. That's the problem. You're never going to find that true balance. It won't pull the same way. The energy's a bit different. You say, well, I got all these things. I can convert it, Nathan. I can convert it. No, I got a conversion. Okay. You can tell me that till you're blue in the face. You can be Papa Smurf and tell me that all day long. I'm still going to tell you it's not the same. And we have to come to the understanding that you have to start with the battery. Now, there's a chemical process that goes into this because you have to trigger certain markers when you run something for a Unity. You want to be able to trigger the system and then convert through capacitors and then back. Capacitor is a bit different than a battery. Battery uses two different types of metal to create it. And if I want to run a capacitor, it's the same metal. So a little bit different there. But that's the point, isn't it? You have to be able to do the conversion right. Pull it out of the battery, put it in the machine, run the machine, run it back to the caps. The caps will then be able to push back. So you're going to have a circuit that is able to handle double the energy in the beginning than you originally want to put in. You say, well, why is that? Well, it's a simple process. To do a bypass to it, you have to have both on at once, and then one has to shut off. Okay, well, that's not that difficult to understand. Now, you can try to time it and get it right, but then if your circuit dies, is there enough energy in the caps to hold it? So it's a little harder of a math problem, easier to start out originally with the energy to double in the beginning and then calm back down and run into a regular circuit than it is going to be to time it. But either way, I mean, I'm good with either as long as you can pull it off. The hard thing is when you get too much extra stuff involved, you have to add that to your original circuit. You say, well, I'm going to use an Arduino. Okay, that's good. The power still has to come off the same battery. You go, well, no, I can run it separate. No, you can't. If it's in the system, it has to be run by the system. Part over Unity. It's not, let me take something from something else and give you anything extra. Can it run the system? The system is everything involved, not something to the side. Why am I not okay with meters and lights telling me the answer? You see, lights lie to you. They lie to you a lot, especially when dealing with this kind of energy. So let's just think about this. You say a 40-watt light bulb, right? And you're doing the math. Okay, I got 40 watts. That means I got, 10 volts times what? 4 amps. Okay, that's 40 watts. But what happens there? Well, if you're just exciting the gas in a tube of light, guess what? You didn't even use the right process to turn that on. You're most likely turning it on with radiant energy, which is different than it is to run it through the normal circuit. You can get a lot more power out in radiant energy in order to turn on light bulbs than you ever could through a regular circuit. Okay. But it's different energy. You see, it takes a lot less to produce a radiant field, but the radiant field to convert back, it takes 2 to 3 times the amount of radiant field than it would to be in conventional energy. So it's kind of like, I don't know, standing next to nuclear waste and saying my light bulb lit. Yeah, well, it lit for a different process than the circuit you wanted to build, right? You say, well, my circuit runs fine right next to it. You're not getting the point. You're using a different process, so therefore the energy is different. The conversion factor is wrong for you. The light bulb lies, and it does it a lot. I see a lot of people out there with light bulb, and they say, oh, man, I got it. Okay, send it back to the system, and let's find out. No, it's not there. It's just not. There's not enough energy. You used a different process to turn on the light bulb. There's no lying about that. It just is what it is. It's a great feat, and it's understandable, but it's not the same. It's still not over Unity. You have to be able to run it back through. Again, I don't care if it's the primary circuit you run it from or if it's a secondary circuit that you're pulling the energy in from the room. It still has to go through the process and then create unity first. So it rules out a couple other things that people may think. Well, can I just create a huge capacitor bank? Can I just run as many capacitors as I want to get this? Well, yeah, they'll fill up in the beginning, but if you can't fill them fast enough coming back to the system, still isn't going to work. You have to be able to balance the resonance in the circuit. You have to be able to balance how the speed works in the circuit, everything. You also have to actually run this thing, and you have to control the duty cycle. It's going to be one of the most important things. How much energy you let out at once in order to run the primary system has become a very big thing. Timing has to be exact on one of these things. So let's take an example. If I run a Tesla coil, and I don't have to run it very much, I can use a Slayer exciter, I can use 6 volts, and it'll turn it on. I can use the rod down the center to pull out the energy. Now I can also use my number 2 coil to pull out the energy. Both very viable sources. Both can create more energy. And now I have something that I convert back to caps, right? Not hard. Do I have to put the full bridge before or after? Well, you see, the cap itself is going to convert some of the energy for you. You have to make sure what kind of energy you want. See, you don't even need the caps to be able to turn back on your Tesla coil. It's kind of a little inside secret there for you. If you use the rod down the center, there's that same energy. You could turn on another Tesla coil, put it into the primary Tesla coil, be able to turn it on to the secondary, not a problem. You could do the same thing with the wire coming off the end of the Tesla coil. What's the problem in there? You have no chance to build a capacitance in order to get the thing to pulse. That's the problem. It's going to want to pulse at way too high of a rate. The waves are wrong. The transverse wave that comes out in the pulse of the electromagnetism has to be at a slower rate. That's the trick, isn't it? Therefore, you have to find a way to slow it down. If you put it into a full bridge rectifier, it will slow it down, but it may slow it down too much and create too much heat in the circuit, and then you get hysteresis as a loss. What's the better option? Put it in the cap bank, put a draw on it with a light bulb. Little neon light. You know, they say it takes, 100 volts to turn them on? Nah, not really. Not when you're working in radiant energy. It'll take you 5 volts on a primary running circuit to turn one of those on. It's a light bulb lies to you, man. It lies to you a lot, and you don't even realize it yet. Wait until you do this. You want that hysteresis to be so small that it's almost non-existent in the circuit. See, that's why the light works best in a neon. They say, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I have to have so many volts to turn it on. But then you just said that you can turn it on in a different way. But what are you missing here? You see, the energy flows through it. It only takes a little bit to excite the gas. So your loss is minimal. You have probably about, 95, 96% energy flow through while you have the rest turning on the light bulb. Now that's a big improvement. Now you can put it into the caps and run it back to run a duty cycle on it and pulse the primary circuit. Now we have something, but it's still not enough. See, you're going to have to run the rod down the center and the coil itself on the number 2 in order to get enough energy to do this. Is it working? Yeah, it would work. Barely, and it'll run down over time. How do you get it to unity then? Well, you got to take another coil and saturate it. You see, that's one of the hardest parts of over unity is understanding why a joule thief works the way it does. Saturation of the coil is massively important. Anytime you saturate it, then you can pull off it as many times you can while it's in saturation. As soon as it loses saturation, you no longer can pull off of it. You have to go back 1 or 2 and then start there. Over unity is very hard to pull off. Unity is really, really hard to pull off as well. You have to balance your system. Now, let me tell you something that nobody usually will tell you. You are going to be required in anything that's over unity to be able to pull in from the environment around you. If you built your system without resonance, there's no chance of it. There's just none. There isn't. Let me explain this. Whether it's constructive or deconstructive when you do it, if you did not build it in resonance, the game is over. You will not achieve your goal. Why? Why would I say that? Don Smith, he built a bunch of coils. What did he do that you're not seeing in that? Well, made coils resonant to each other. Doesn't matter if it's half wave, quarter wave, eighth wave, whatever it is, he made them resonant to each other. So therefore, as soon as he hits the resonance factor in each of them, they produce more energy. Or should I just say the truth and say that they are creating an environment to pull in the energy from the atmosphere in order to fill it up with plasma, which is easily converted because it's in a low Hertz level. That's pretty interesting, right? You really didn't think it was that, right? Oh, yeah, we can build this thing. We'll just put coil over coil of coil and magnetic field to cover it, right? No. The energy has to come from somewhere. It doesn't have to be created. It just has to be pulled in. The environment pulls it in. Don Smith is working with resonance 100%. Coil after coil after coil resonant to one another. In one form or another, there's extra energy pulled in. Anytime that you take a Tesla coil and you put a secondary next to it, and they have the same value in resonance. So the frequency in the coil that's off to the side has the same frequency as the resonant frequency of your primary runner, then you get plasma coming out that the number 2 coils are sitting by itself. Plasma is going out both ends of it. What is that saying? That's saying that you're pulling in the environment to it. You do not have power connected to it. It could be 5-6 feet away. You have no power connected to it. You have no ground connected to it. You're not cheating in any way. It is literally pulling in the energy of the environment. That's how you know you have extra energy. It's not creating it. It's just making a draw for it to pull in. Now, apply that to your system. When you hit the point of saturation and resonance in a coil that has multiple windings to it, now you can pull in more energy from the environment. Now the over unity begins. The only way over unity works is to pull in the energy from the environment. You see, we can't create or destroy energy, but we can sure pull it in from the environment. We can release it back into the environment. You see, I've been doing this a long time, guys, and I mean a long time. And I've been converting things from one part to another. Every single coil that I've built, I've tried it. Let me tell you where the successes come in and where the failures come in. Anytime that I think I can run a coil and pull energy out of it by the primary system, I've failed. That's just been the hard truth for me. It's been a complete failure. There's not enough energy in there. If I run it to the positive side, the maximum I can get is 92% to the value. That's horrible. It'll make it run for a little while, but it'll degrade and die on you. Now we start looking and go, okay, well, how do you get over unity then? Well, you see, when you're pulling it in from the environment because the primary moving circuit is always working, guess what? Now you've created a vacuum. That vacuum is pulling in the energy from the environment. Now we get a little extra. You see, that's what people don't realize. They look at an experiment and say, oh, man, you failed already. You failed already. I saw it. They go, no, I didn't fail. I just didn't complete the experiment, but I didn't fail. You see, I build these things so that you guys can see the pathway to get there. Sometimes it just make a rotor run for a few seconds. But if you follow the pathway of what I'm trying to do in order to saturate a coil and how many times I'm pulling off of it, you'll see what I'm doing. You'll see the part that works. You just got to open your mind. Some of you just see the direct connection and go, okay, he's just running on his primary moving circuit. There's no way it's going to work. book shut, chapter closed, let's throw the thing away. It's done. People these days want instant gratification. I'm sorry, there's no such thing. When you're working in this kind of a field, you have to be able to take those losses and convert them. What did you learn? Well, I had saturation in the coil for a long, long time. I never used all of it. I never did. Heck, I didn't even connect anything to my Tesla coil. I just run a rod down the center, connected to absolutely nothing, and pulled energy into a rodent coil, which reached its point of saturation fairly quickly because it's radiant in the field, and it's not static or magnetic. Lenz's law applies nothing to this thing. You can put a magnet over it all day and it won't make it move 1 little centimeter. Okay, no little millimeters, nothing, no little peters here. Okay, we're not moving. What does that mean? It means the energy is pulled into it. It means that it wants to create an electric field to it, so it'll pull in the environment in order to try to create that electric field. Well, isn't that important? My failure became my greatest success. You see, now each wire of that rodent coil becomes important. Why? Because now they're starting to produce energy. As long as that rodent coil stays saturated, the energy can be pulled from it in every single wire. It doesn't matter which side it's on. Heck, it'd be easier if that wire itself wasn't one continuous wire to the whole thing. If it was one complete inside coil, one complete outside coil, make all the sense in the world. Unfortunately, he didn't build it that way. Doesn't mean we can't do it. It just means that it sucks that it is built that way. He didn't build it for the same reason we were going to use it for. It was built to run joule thief circuits or run joule thief circuits in the negative. It's just an interesting fact on how things work and to get over unity instead of unity. But the whole thing starts with, can you pull enough energy from any one of these circuits to do it? Now, I've seen a lot of joule thieves out there. Like I said, 92%. And that's pretty accurate, man. It'll run it for quite a while. And when you start to get this thing cooling down is when you start to understand it wasn't hot, positive energy that you needed to pull through the coil first. Now, just understand this. This is the biggest misunderstanding of everybody. What is the difference between a PNP and an NPN? Well, just draw out the circuit. That's not that hard. The NPN runs with the positive side going through the entire circuit first. You have energy loss right away. It's okay, well, what if I put it through the coil first? Well, that's okay. You can do that. You're still having energy loss first. Why? Well, magnets create heat. You can't get away from it. Doesn't matter if it's in static or if it's in complete magnetics. They create heat, and it is the loss. There's no getting around that. What do you do with the PNP then? Well, it pulls it through everything else, and then it pulls it in through the transistor itself. Yeah, well, heck, that's an improvement. I didn't have any loss going to the coil yet, right? Well, what happened? Well, the resistor that you have to use to get the voltage differential that you need to turn on the transistor, well, it's heat, and it's a loss. You go, I can't win. I got these two circuits, man. One works in reverse, which is a PNP. One works in forward, and that's the NPN. What is going on here that I can change to make this work? You go, well, let's think about this for a minute. We just talked about a neon light lying to us, right? We're trying to figure out, okay, if it's going to pull a little energy, okay, we can accept that a little bit. We can try to make it up somewhere else. But we can't have heat in the circuit. We just can't. So how do we want to do it? Well, we want to pull it out at the point where it wants to convert it through the switch. So the switch is the NPN. But we want to run it in the negative mode like a PNP. Now, I know it doesn't sound like a big deal. You go, well, what's a little resistor? Just a little tiny thing, yeah, little baby little resistor. Well, it's the biggest deal in the world. Why would I want a neon light instead of that? And I'm not talking no big giant neons, bright. We're just talking a little tiny neon. Why would I want that? Well, it runs through the neon and back to the other side and hops it over through a cold energy circuit and allows it to flow back to the cat bank. Okay, I can see that. We get a little bit more energy there. I'm pretty comfortable with that. What did you also do in the circuit? All of the entire cold energy from the negative that does not have the heat of the positive side got pulled through your coil first. You go, oh, well, hold on. That's a huge difference here, guys. You go, well, I don't understand. What did I miss? I could run it in positive and go through the whole coil. Yeah, you can. And you're going to create a magnetic field and you're going to create extra loss. You're going to be running in the 70 to 80% range when it comes out. Therefore, the loss is huge. I want to get to 98% efficiency. Maybe I can get to 100 through the coil before it starts to lose energy. So if I pull the negative through and pulse it backwards to the switch, that's okay. It's the line, you look at it, you go, well, it fills up, it hits the switch and it pulses. Well, it doesn't just pulse here and afterward. It pulses the stuff behind it all the way back to the battery. So if you took the battery negative, ran it through the coil, ran it back through. But now I have two transistors, both NPNs, both doing the same thing. But now I add resonance to it. Can I make up that small loss? Can I pull 8% more through resonance? We're not talking a ton of energy here, guys. We're talking a little bit. Can it be pulled through? Well, see, the answer is yes. You got to understand that. We talked about resonance in a coil. Why is it so important? Well, it pulls energy from the environment. Well, if I get my coil to run where I'm not losing energy and heat, and that comes first before it even hits the system, then I resonate one coil to the next. Now in that resonance, each one picks up energy to the other. You go, well, man, so hold on. I got my original amount. Now I have them pulsing to each other, so I'm picking up energy. You're going, man, this is amazing. What's the difference in the two? You see, the negative side doesn't try to create the same field. It tries to pull in a different field. It pulls in the radiant field that's all around you. You go, hold on. Radiant field all around me. How is that possible? We'll get back to the circuit, but how is that possible? Well, if you did field flip research and understand how to flip fields, it'd be no problem to understand it. We're technically in a radiant field right now. That's how, that's can't be possible, right? No. Well, let's go outside. If it's hot, do I get a tan? Yeah. Well, how do you know you're getting radiant energy? Well, that gives you a suntan. It doesn't feel like a whole lot of energy out there. You say, I walk around it, man, I can twirl all day and I'm not getting excited, right? Yeah. But the field flip comes when you run down the hall in your socks, doesn't it? You start picking up static electricity. Well, how do you pick up static electricity from the environment? Because it's a field flip. Your body is capacitance. Your body will pick up a charge based on that field flip. It's inside of a radiant energy field that you pick up a field flip. It'll convert the energy to the other stage of it, which would be static electricity. And if it's heavy enough, it's magnetism. You go, well, hold on, okay. Well, that makes sense. They call it a magnetosphere, very little magnetism. It means if you're in radiant energy, there's a small field flip going on. So you're not getting all the magnetism you normally would out of the field. It must be radiant. That's a pretty big understanding for this whole thing. there are certain complications that come in from that. But let's go back to our circuit now. If I understand it to be radiant and I know I'm pulling in a different field, what does that mean for the geometry of my coil? Am I working with it? Am I working against it? Golden coil is a perfect example. You're literally getting the flow of energy to go in the exact configuration you want in a toroid. You go, okay, now I can see it. The fields flow in that way from the earth. They cross each other in a mesh. I could start to see why we're getting a good positive result out of the rodent coil and why he built it that way. Now that I add the fact that as soon as that energy comes in, is it causing a conversion? And you go, does it have to, or can it build the field extra? You see, that's where people get lost in this. They go, well, if it's cold, okay, room temperature, not a problem. You're pulling out negative battery. We've seen that in the PNP. We're there. We can kind of follow you. We're on board a little bit. We can ride that train for a little while. Why is it getting colder? Why does that particular field hold in energy for a while after you remove the power source? It's not a maybe does it happen. It's not, I think it's going to happen. It's not, I postulated it's going to happen. It is a 100% fact that it happens. I could do it right in front of you in seconds. It can go up to 1 minute with pulling the wire out of that Tesla coil from the radiant field and keep that whole coil saturated with energy. Why? Why is it doing it? What's the process that's going on? I'm not allowing it to stay at room temperature. What do you mean not allowed to stay at room temperature? Well, the negative pulls through the system, so it generally doesn't pick up heat. You go, okay, well, all right. Doesn't mean it's going to cool down a lot, right? Well, when I pulse it with the other coil, what happens? I become in resonance. Why does that matter? Well, resonance is a funny thing, isn't it? It just doesn't work on one scale. It works through all of them. You want to work micro, macro, you want to work big scale, you want to work Planck scale, you better be working in resonance. It's the only thing that crosses over between all of them. It's the commonality of all of them. Okay, so you're in resonance. Now my fields are going to communicate in resonance. If my coil better matches the environment that I'm in resonance, what happens? Well, the energy pulls the energy from the room because you created somewhere to pull the energy in. Your trap is now better than other people's. You're pulling that energy in. It gets colder. You see, you're not going to go over here with liquid nitrogen and put it through the center of it, make this thing work any better. That's not the process that goes on. You're misunderstanding the effect, and you're misunderstanding the cause. You see, you want to pull the environment energy in. How you know it's working is the coil gets colder. How it retains its energy is because it's not going anywhere. It slows down the electrons in the system. They can no longer bounce everywhere. They're not invigorated. It's like the guy running a marathon versus the guy in the lounge chair. We want the guy in the lounge chair. We want the thing to stick around for a while. We don't want to run a marathon with it. No. We just want it to hang out for a while. We want it to accumulate energy. So, okay. Now we're getting that. How do we know we're getting it? Because it gets colder. You go, oh. Now I'm starting to get it a little bit, aren't I? It's getting colder for a reason. The reason isn't that it's cold. It's because you've now matched the resonance across against different scales in order to make the energy work with each other. Now that the energy works with the other, it now stabilizes in the system. Now you can start to pull things around. Now you can play with it. You see, that's one of the biggest misnomers of cold energy. Some people think it's a fallacy. Well, the second that you think it's a fallacy, go run a PNP and go tell me how it works. No, I'll wait. Go run it. When you start to find out, hey, that old man told you. He told you to run a PNP. Why? Well, it's running through negative bias. Oh, might be important, huh? I'm not making things up. It's how it works. Okay, I run them in my Tesla coils. I know. They keep the cool circuit really cool, except for that resistor. Change the resistor size, stays longer. It creates a different field, bigger field sometimes less, depending on what the value is. Sometimes you can adjust it to make that coil just run smooth as silk all day. Trust me when I tell you all the understandings out there. What you didn't know is you could take a PNP and replace a PNP with it, with the little neon light that lied to you. 100 volts, gotta have 100 volts. No, you don't. Not when you hit with a radiant field. You're exciting gas. You're not running the energy through the circuit the right way. You're changing how you're running that circuit. Why? Because the energy is different. It's just different. It requires different values to it. Light bulbs lie to you all the time. You'll never see me calculating a light bulb until you have over unity, because I'd be full of it. Yeah, you might as well write full of shit on my forehead as soon as I did it. And I won't do that to you. I'll just tell you the truth. I'm using a different field to turn it on. Okay. At least he's honest about it. I'm not going to sit out here and tell you a value on light bulbs and tell you and lie to you. No, it's just turning it on a different way. I'm exciting the gas in a different way. I'm not correctly running this thing through there in order to excite the gas. I'm doing it with a different type of energy. Okay. Well, it's good that he told us. But it makes sense when you start to accumulate the wins there. These are all anomalies that people throw away. But now you start to see they're all wins. They're all exactly what you were looking for. You see, this isn't a math calculation here. This is a building problem. As you build these things, you notice certain anomalies. Can you take care of your stuff and get the anomalies right in order to work for you? Pulling in the energy is important in the way that you do it and how you build it. You know, I've never, and I mean never, seen a over unity circuit use a resistor. A lot of coils resonate to each other. People don't realize that. I could probably see 4 or 5 coils in an over unity circuit, not one resistor. And I could tell you that if you looked at it and replaced the NPN that's sitting there with a PNP, it'll start to make more sense. You know, what is it, 0.7 in a voltage differential that you have to run a PNP? Take that out of your mind real quick and put the PNP in place of the NPN in that circuit. Now run it. And you go, well, okay, well, now it starts to make sense. It'll actually oscillate and run, okay? But it's going to require some resistors, and that's where you got to stop and think. Did they put in a neon light? Did they put a light bulb in there and you not know why? Did they use an LED somewhere that you didn't realize? You said, well, it's just a diode. It's a diode. Was it an LED diode? You see, things like that are very specific to free energy. You have to start looking at them. They'll start to make sense. You go, man, oh, look at this. This circuit actually could run this way. What if I followed it but did have a different understanding of it? And now I understand that when you have a cold energy circuit, it requires heat to draw it to it. That's something they don't tell you. They tell you there's a voltage differential, but did they tell you the resistor requires heat? It's converting your voltage and amperage. No, they didn't bother to tell you that. But that's the most important part. That's how you can trick the system to run an NPN versus a PNP. You have to be able to know that. I don't know how many times I say it and people don't understand this. The draw is much greater on a cold energy circuit if you had a grounding circuit. Why? The grounding part pulls it through there because there's heat in it. You know, my good friend Sean does this with his Tesla coils, and I find it ironically funny. And I don't think a lot of people picked up on it. I know a lot of people in the chat see it. When you sit there and run a Tesla coil and then the energy comes in from the ground to the Tesla coil itself, what did you do? You say, well, the ground doesn't have energy. I run all over it all day long. Walk out there with my shoes on, I don't get zapped. But as soon as you put that rod in the ground, as soon as you go over to the Tesla coil now, which acts as a pump in this situation, you're pulling in the energy, and it's got plenty of weight and it's got plenty of amps. You go, hold on, what the heck going on here? Why is it doing it? And Sean goes, all right, I got a better one for you. I'm going to take this spool of wire and I'm going to connect it as my ground. Then it starts producing energy as well towards that coil, and you're just scratching your head. You go, well, Sean, hold on. It's not going from the coil to the negative or to the grounding. It's going from the grounding to there. It's a spool of wire, has absolutely zero connection with anything. Where is the energy coming from? Pulled it in from the environment. Why? Well, because you made a pump out of your Tesla coil. It's pumping energy. You go, oh my God. Does that mean I could put a capacitor bank in between that and pull the energy out? Yeah. Yeah, you can. There's an understanding for you. That turns everything on its head. What did you do in your Tesla coil to do that? Well, I compress the energy in my Tesla coil by creating different geometries. And in the shape that he does it in is his Death Star Tesla coil, which is round. Round Tesla coil. Why you got a round one? Well, compression of fields, taking the rod, putting it through the center, which he does do, in order to create the energy coming out. And the energy that comes out in tendrils avoids things. What do you mean avoids things? I have a Tesla coil out here that shoots out lightning sparks and it hits everything. It attracts to it. What do you mean his fields come out and don't hit anything? They avoid it. That's a different type of energy, isn't it? It's maybe something you should pay attention to. You go, oh man, so he's getting energy that pulls out of the ground. Now he's getting something that avoids it differently. What's going on here? It's a difference in the field that you make. I mean, look, I'd like to tell you it's something different, but it isn't. Can he straight up put a capacitor bank in between that spool of wire attached to absolutely nothing? Put a capacitor bank, now put the wire over there by the Tesla coil. What's he going to do? You're going to see the energy pull to the Tesla coil, and the capacitor bank will fill up. How many times can he do it? That's what everybody's going to ask. How many times do you want to run the wire? How many spools of wire you got sitting in your garage? Because that's how many times he's going to do it. That's it. The pump isn't stopping because that's his primary mover. He's now pulling in the negative from the environment. He has now changed your understanding of energy. You think he pulls it in through his primary runner. No, it's just a draw. It is literally pulling everything in through that pump. He is now pulling in energy out of spools of wire. Oh, man. Can he do it one further? Well, see, Sean's a brilliant person. He'll go take his brass balls over there, and he'll pull it from them. You go, well, hold on. How do you have brass balls producing energy? I don't know. Sean does it. He says it has to do something with the electrons. It has a lot of free electrons on it and pulls it over to the coil. Now, I'm not a big electron guy, so I'm not going to start trying to tell you about electrons. But if Sean says it, I'm going to believe him. Okay? Because Sean is brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant when it comes to Tesla coils. So if he tells me his brass balls are producing the energy, hey, buddy, I'm there with you. I'm not going to argue one bit. So I asked Sean, can you make me a Tesla coil, the Death Star Tesla coil? I want to know for myself. I'd like to buy some brass balls and pull some energy from it. I'd like to take some of the spools of wire I got over here and pull it in. I'd like to do all of that. Now, I have seen the process work a little bit when I was winding a Tesla coil. See, I was winding it and I had a spool of wire. And what would happen? As I was winding it, I was creating some kind of a field on the wire itself as I wound it. So what would happen? The spool of wire I was pulling all the stuff onto every once in a while would get a jolt of energy and shake the table. Oh, hold on. But there's no energy in either one of them. There was no energy putting into the coil. There was no energy in the spool of wire. It's a 5-pound spool of wire, and it was moving it like it wasn't a problem. Where did the energy come from? It pulled it in from the environment. Could it have been my big fat butt being a capacitor to it and pulling it off me? Yeah, but I'm still part of the environment. Could it have been the heat pulled in through the rubbing of the tubing in order to get it to turn? Sure. But it's not conventional energy we put into it to get that to do it. You see, it's the environment itself. You're creating a condition for energy to pull into it. That's when you start to understand things a little differently. We have to use the environment to get over unity. It is a prerequisite to it. I've also seen where we build pulse motors. Mike Faraday built a beautiful Renegade pulse motor. And he used spark gaps. Little known secret, I wish everybody knew it. A spark gap pulls in energy from the environment. You see, it creates a condition for energy to be pulled into it, so the amount that goes through it is higher coming out the other side than it was going in. Who knew? Energy from the environment is doing it right in front of you in a spark gap. And it creates a great pulse and doesn't blow up on you like a diode would, or a transistor, MOSFET, IGBT, whatever you want to say. Those things blow up, spark gap doesn't. It gets a little hot sometimes, and sometimes you have to actually sand it off. Now, where's the secret in those? You go, well, I got a spark gap that usually runs at 240 degrees Fahrenheit. But when it runs its energy, it only runs at room temperature. Anomalies. Anomalies in your system will set you free. When you hit that level and you can see it, what did you do? You didn't change the environment. You stopped the loss. You get the spark, but you're now pulling in from the environment as well. Now you're producing more energy. Or should I say you're pulling it in from the environment? It's probably the more correct term to say. You see, this is where it starts to become important. Everything that I've told you so far is absolutely 100% true. Not one bit of it is a lie. Everything can be proven through every single experiment you've ever done. All you have to do is look for the anomaly. I'm not telling you anything that's wrong. I'm not telling you a lie. I did not make up any of this stuff. Every single thing has been shown on this channel. We look through everything. We evaluate everything. That pulse motor is amazing. One thing that he does that most people don't do is the piezoelectric buzzer. Now, here's where some true next level thinking comes in. You're taking the energy and you're taking the negative and you're breaking it with a piezoelectric buzzer. Therefore, when it pulses through the spark gap, they turn off and on. What does it do? Well, the energy doubles in the time that you turn it off and on. What do you mean it doubles? How does it double? Well, because you added a pulse wave to it. You created a resident frequency, not a frequency in resonance. You added a value to it. You are now getting the maximum allowed energy in that circuit. Resident frequency. Two frequencies in oscillation with each other with a pulse wave, not just two frequencies in resonance with each other. You have now created extra energy because of that pulse. Genius. Absolutely genius. Matter of fact, it is written on the wall in ancient Egypt in hieroglyphs. Right by the UFO picture you all look at. Go pull it up and look at it. It's right there. Bottom left-hand corner. You can see the actual oscilloscope reading, it looks like. Two frequencies in resonance with each other and a pulse wave that shows up as a square wave. Who'd have known, huh? They put it right there in front of you and laughed because you don't ever look at it. You go, ooh, shiny UFO. Oh, it must be, that's a tank next to it. That's an airplane next to it. You might even get a little further and say, oh my God, that's a shard on the moon. You go, oh man, we also have comets going through and I can name you the comet. Did you but look at the bottom left-hand corner? Did you understand it? It's basically an oscilloscope reading. It was right in front of you. It's been sitting there the whole time. They told you what resonance was. Anytime that you have bees sitting there next to a plant versus the Egyptian cross, they told you Egyptian cross is basically resonance. Well, why? Bees are attracted to resonance. That's how they build their hives. Well, what happens when you put resonance into your plant? It grows better. Oh my God. Right in front of you. Right? They just, oh man, no, it's just a couple of little guys out there scratching stuff out in the wall. No, it's not. It's a formula right in front of you. It's always been there. Strange things, guys, strange things. Let's talk about Edwin Gray. Edwin Gray is a little bit different, right? All about radiant energy. I love it when somebody tells me about radiant energy, and I'll tell you why. I can tell in about 2 seconds if you got it or you don't. And you go, what do you mean? How do you tell in 2 seconds? Well, describe the field to me. Just describe it. And any words you want, physics words, anything, I'll look it up. You go, well, it's a small field that comes out of there and it barely affects this thing. And, we have all the other fields intact from our Tesla coil. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right at all. Well, hold on. I put 5 volts in a Tesla coil with a Slayer exciter that's ungrounded. Okay, not much energy at all. But then I put that wire through the rod in the center of the Tesla coil, which is not attached to the Tesla coil at all, and I put it in water. 3 feet away, I'm still getting energy out of that glass of water. That's a monster field for the amount of energy you put in. Why do I know you don't have it? Because you have no idea what that field is. You can read it in the textbook. Yeah, go right ahead. They'll even give you a formula for it. The day you find it will be the day you understand it. I can sit here and talk to you until I'm blue in the face about it. You don't have it. When you describe this energy, it's different. Why? You're dealing with resonance on the Planck scale. So how do you know? How do you know? Hold on. How do you know it's on the Planck scale? What measure in your mind can see that? Okay, well, fair. I'm forcing a field in compression, and it's responding by bringing a bigger field. You go, well, what else does that? Nuclear radiation. Oh, well, hold on. What does that tell you about what you're doing? Well, radiant field is the low level radiation. Okay. It's just like magnetics is the high level of static electricity. You're simply changing the values in something and how you build it. Now, if I know I'm creating radiant energy, I know I'm creating a radiation field or a giant field because of it. You say, well, what in history could tell you that does that? Well, the Demon Corps. World War II, we created the Demon Corps. We're going to put it in a bomb. He killed a lot of people, guys. Why? Well, because he basically took out the screwdriver. There's a screwdriver holding the core from being closed shut permanently. It could have a half-inch gap, and you're still okay. As soon as it closed, the radiation killed people. As soon as it closed. As soon as that guy got floppy and that screwdriver got pulled out, it closed. It then condensed into it. In the Planck scale, it responded with radiation and killed people. They marked where they stood so that they can write this down in history so that we would know what it would do. Now we're creating it on a small scale with our Tesla coils. They're creating a radiant field. Tesla himself called it radiant. How do we know what we're creating? Let's go to Tesla again. He's pulling energy out of the atmosphere, which for most parts it comes out looking like static electricity. He's pulling the energy out of the ground, which comes out more like magnetism. We understand the energy in the ground as transverse. We understand the energy out of an atmosphere as longitudinal. We have to resonate them together to create a radiant field. Pretty interesting, right? Tesla knew. Tesla knew to call it something different. He could have said static. He could have just said, oh man, it's static, it's static, it's static. Because what happens when you use a magnetic pulse in order to start a Tesla coil? Well, the voltage goes up, the amperage goes down, the frequency goes way up, and it creates what would look to be static. Yet I can tell you right now, you can stand next to it all day and you get no static. Why? It should be creating static electricity. Your room should fill up with static electricity. Why is it not doing it? Because it's in resonance between a longitudinal and a transverse wave. Therefore, it comes out radiant. It's the oscillation back and forth between the two fields like a heartbeat. It creates this. A totally different field comes out of it. I've run static electricity for a long time, guys. It ruins everything. You put it on your melamine table, you're going to blow up every piece of electronics you got, all the way. I can tape this thing down to my table on my piece of melamine. It won't destroy anything. Matter of fact, the only thing it's going to do is it's going to cut a hole right into there and then go and create what looks like lightning on it. It will not create a static field. Not unless you convert it. You have to run a conversion to get static out of it. It creates a radiant field. What's the difference between putting it in the center versus on the outside? They both go through everything. You can have lead and it's going through it. The difference is the amount of heat. The outside produces a ton of heat. The inside doesn't. What happens to your magnetism in this field? It doesn't interact with the magnet. You say, well, whoa, hold on. It doesn't interact with the magnet. It defeats Lenz's law? Yeah, it does. And it does it very easily. And you can punch this sucker up real high and it still defeats Lenz's law. Why? For the same exact reason I cannot walk outside and throw a magnet in the air and have it float. They are two different types of energy. Try it. Go out and take your magnets, throw them up in the air. Juggle with them. Throw them off buildings. It's not interacting on the level. It's not playing with that field. Why? Because the field hasn't flipped. That's why. You did not create an environment for that thing to flip. You just didn't. It is not interacting in that same way. How do you know you have the right field? If it's radiant, it should avoid Lenz's law. Cold electricity works in the same way. Not cold because you're over there freezing it with ice cubes. Cold because it's pulling in the environment. The environment is radiant. If you understand where I'm going here, you understand this. Over unity is created by knowing which field you're in. Now you can tell me about electrons all day, and I won't deny anything that you say because you're probably right about electrons. I don't see them when I build stuff. Let me just say that. I won't argue the point with you, but I'll also tell you I don't ever see them. I see fields. Okay, I can map them out. I could sit there with the radio on an AM station and map this thing out. I could take a light bulb and map it out exactly where it is. In that, it doesn't tell me that there's any electron buildup. Again, I'll say it again. If you tell me that there is, and I'll believe you, and I won't argue the point. But I'll also have you understand that there's a field being created. As long as we can agree with that, we're all good. I don't care how you write it past that. That's irrelevant to me because I'm not going to write it. I'm not going to patent it, and I'm not going to do anything with it except for to tell you how it works. That's it. I don't patent things, guys. I just don't. You know, I'm not the guy that runs to the patent office and everything, or else I'd have a bunch of patents right now, and I just don't feel like it. I'd rather have everybody have the information and be able to build their own. And I'll congratulate anybody who does, you know. Hopefully in some small way to complete your experiment, I can help you out in that and just tell you the truth. Let me tell you another marker you know you have something that's different. And this is not questionable, okay? This is not one of those things you go, well, maybe you have it, maybe you don't. Maybe you thought you had something special, you don't. It falls flat, it's a joke, nobody believes you. Okay. I know it happens because it's happening in my garage right in front of me. When you get a field that holds in static electricity or can push it across the room based on how you wire it, guess what? The fields are interacting in a different way. There's no question about it. It's done it. Does it all day long. How do you beat it? See, I didn't just stop with, hey, I got something special here and jumped up and down and wrote a book about it. No. I stopped to look at it and I go, well, can I beat this thing? If I'm holding the energy in, the static electricity, I'm holding it in with this radiant field. Can I beat it? Can I force it to the outside? Well, the answer was yes. What did I have to do that? I had to make the frequency the exact same on the inside in the static field as the outside on the radiant field. Then it crossed over. That means the frequency itself in oscillation has to change a bit. Well, that's interesting in itself. But does it tell me that it's the amount of resonance that's changing it? You see, I always mention resonance because in the static field, you go, well, how do you know you're resonating anything? Well, in that static electricity, I use a DC flyback, which basically uses an inner core and the outside of the core. So both are two different fields that are oscillating with each other. You go, well, no, it's a negative and a positive. Well, how's it built? Might be a good question to ask. We literally take wire around a bobbin and wind it. It creates a magnetic core. You know, okay, that's your negative. So that's my negative. Yeah, that's your negative. What do you do to get the positive? Well, I put some laminate over it, some clear laminate, and then I put strips of copper on it. Okay, just like tape, I put strips of copper on it. Where I cannot create a secondary field, it can only go in that one direction to it. It does not have enough magnetic value to push back. You know, okay? So what are you doing then? Well, I'm doing it multiple times. So basically, I'm creating levels of capacitance, and I'm stripping away amps and creating more of the voltage. So my frequency is going to go up and my voltage is going to go up. My amperage is going to go down. It's now going to become airborne coming out the positive side. But the negative side is creating the amperage because it is a magnetic field. Oh, so they have to be in oscillation with each other through positive and negative in order to create it. Therefore, I know that I have an oscillation. I'm not doing anything different than a Tesla coil. You say, well, but it's a DC flyback. Yeah, I know. But that's the way it builds out. Sorry, that's what's going on. I can't change it any more than you can. It just is what it is. When you look at how it's built, and that's how it builds out, that's what it does. So now I look at that and I go, okay, now I have a Tesla coil field, which he's calling his radiant field. Then I have another field that he's calling a static field. Why? Because in that positive, I am reducing the amount of amps in it in order to increase the amount of volts, which change my frequency up. I know it's a change. It happens in every single circuit. You may not realize that it does. It's static electricity. So when I put two flybacks together and I run one to the next, right? I'm creating more static. Why? Because I'm taking that outside field that we talked about it, and I'm adding more voltage to it. Basically, I'm increasing the resonance value. That means my voltage is spiking even higher, thinning it out, removing more amperage from it. Now I have something that produces a big static field. You go, okay, if I put that onto a spinning disc, what happened? It flies across the room. It's static. It flies across the room. Best Van der Graaf generator I ever created. It would literally take a 30-foot by 30-foot room and fill it in seconds. They say, well, no, the magnetism is supposed to stay on the disc. It's not supposed to come off of it. What kind of disc are you running? Aluminum. Oh. Why not copper? Well, copper would suck in the electrons and they'd all stay on the disc. Why do you run aluminum? Because there's eddy current. Eddy current doesn't like it. Eddy current throws it across the room. So by just changing the material, you're telling me it's flying across the room instead of staying on it. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Because that's the way it works. Goes all the way across the room, doesn't stay on it. Love for it to stay on it, doesn't stay on it. We'll go, how you holding it in? Well, the radiant field. As soon as I turn on the radiant field, it stayed on there. My computer stopped going off in a few seconds because of the static in the room. Now it's held in. Now my computer shut up, and this thing is now working properly. Best alarm clock I ever had. Yeah, okay. Well, okay. So now let's put it in reverse. Let's change the things, and let's run the radiant field on the disk, and let's just hook the frame up to the static. Okay. Well, because the small disk is built inside of the outside frame, what happened? Well, the static electricity is now shot across the room even faster. What do you mean it's running across the room even faster? It's not connected to anything that's rotating, yeah? But my radiant field's rotating. It's moving it. It's now pushing it. Where before it was holding in, it's now pushing it. Guys, this isn't a guess. This is what actually happens in lab tests. It's pushing it across the room. Oh. Yeah, can't just push it across the room. Oh, yeah, you can. Oh, yeah, you can. You go, oh, man. UFOs are known as soon as they come down, they can turn off all the electronics in your car. Yeah, it does it to my computer. It goes between Google Chrome, and then it goes, okay, it wants to turn on YouTube now. Now it wants to turn on Facebook. Buddy, it goes through all of them. So you're telling me if you change the frequency a little bit in an oscillation, then it's going to change what's going on in your computer? Yeah. Yeah, it does. Now you're making it nervous, aren't you? Now that you realize that a UFO went right over a nuclear site and was able to turn that thing on, and they had complete control of that whole site, you're telling me that you created a field that's able to mirror that exact same thing? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Oh, wow. That should hit you like a ton of bricks. You're telling me that you found the field that goes around the outside of these UFO craft? Yeah, I did. I did. I have it. I've had this thing for over a year. Never patented it. I try to talk to people about it. They don't understand it. They go, oh, no, that's great. Radio frequency. Tesla calls all about radio frequency. They got this big, giant hard on for radio frequency, man. RF. No, it's not. Sorry. Go back and check your degree, buddy. It's not right. Creating the radiant field. Tesla told you himself it did. Sorry. So when you take individual pieces and mislabel them and have the wrong idea, I've asked you to do the test. I've begged you to do the test. You refuse to. So you'll never see it. You're going to have people blind to this all the time. They'll never see it. Never. They refuse to do the test. Okay. Oh, I had something that I didn't like. I didn't like this or I didn't like that. I don't care. Build it your own way. Just use the energy sources that I tell you. And I don't care how configuration you build it in, as long as you keep the same ratios that I do in the device and you stick with the same type of metals that I use and the same type of energy. You're going to get the same answer I did. You're literally going to create the UFO field you're looking for. Everybody wants, oh man, I got to have a plasmoid. Well, how the hell do you think they're created? I mean, think about it. How the hell do you think they're created? You go, well, it's a field holding in static electricity. What do you think we're doing here? I mean, we're not playing pickup sticks with our butt cheeks. We're creating a field that holds in static electricity. That's what we're doing. I said, well, does it have to be a lot of static electricity? No. You could create the static electricity in there that's so small in the static that you cannot pick it up until you create some kind of friction inside of it. That friction field flips it. It'll change it. That's it. We see it show up all the time, man. We just look around. You go, oh, man, this car went flying and was in a crash, and it just skidded across the pavement. And it started to spark. You know, oh, that's something interesting. I went down the hallway in my socks, and then I shocked everybody, and I was laughing all day, and then there it's rearing its ugly head again, isn't it? Man, this thing spontaneously combusted over here. I didn't understand why. There was a lot of friction, though. Yet it shows its head again. We go, well, we just came into the atmosphere and we picked up a lot of energy and it produced heat. Again, it shows up. I don't know what to tell you. It's all around us. Everything out there has a clue to it, and it's very obvious by the time you get to the end of it that there's something more going on here you didn't realize. You see, you have to put the pieces together in the correct order in order to see it. Once you do, once you put it together, it's hard to unsee it. Yeah, I know it's kind of hard to take in. There's a lot of experimenting that goes into this. Tens of thousands of experiments have gone into my journey in order to find this. In order to find the exact fields. Look, I'll tell you this again. Everything that I've just told you, I can recreate without a problem. I'll put it in the correct configuration the first time. I'll set it up the right way. I'll show you how it works. I'll do it right in front of your face. Everything I told you is true. It works that way. Now, are there things out there that I can pick up and learn more? Yeah. But I have a great start in it. I understand energy on energy's terms, not what I try to assign it based on some physics formula. That's kind of the best way, right? Isaac Newton. Apple falls on his head. Okay, learns gravity. That's outstanding. Science experiments. Okay? I love them. They tell you everything. Sitting around in front of a fireplace is going to tell you nothing. That's the problem. You'll create values for something that's not there. You'll create something that looks like it would build out that field that exact same way, that when you play with the paint scale, it plays back on you. It does not agree with your formula. Therefore, you're missing half the equation. I don't want to be hard on people for this, but it's the absolute truth. Sal Paya has talked about it. You didn't understand it because you didn't understand the field. He told you in the first interview he does, when you push on the things in compression of the Planck scale, it pushes back. Nuclear radiation is what he talks about. He tells you about the mesh, the two fields crossing, the radiant and static electricity fields. Add that they cross and the two fields push on each other. You're getting plasma. Very clear plasma. The frequency makes the pattern. The pattern you see in plasma is based on the frequencies created. If you create more than one oscillating frequency in a device, you'll see more than one pattern. That's why we look into crystals. You go, well, make a lot of sense. Take the oxygen in the crystals and draw it out. That is the exact pattern you're making. When you want to turn on a crystal and use the energy in it the right way, you put the crystal in water and then you apply a radiant field to it. That just sounds like, talk out of, your rear end there, but it's true. You see, that's where we start to miss things. Water compressing crystal. We have oceans of water in the ground, underneath the ocean that we have. In there, we have compressed crystalline quartz, diamond, everything. Creates a radiant field. The radiant field goes around our Earth. That's the field we're getting. It doesn't show up as magnetic. Go to the space station. Go throw your magnet out the window. What is it doing? Well, it doesn't have a whole lot of gravity around it, so it's not going to move, but it's not over there throwing it across space for you. It's not saying, oh man, that's one heck of a magnetic field coming out of the Earth, man. Let's get the hell away from it. Or, man, let's shoot it in like a rocket. It's not doing either one. Why? Because there isn't much magnetism out there, because it's radiant energy. It's not this gigantic magnetic field. How little do we learn, man? I mean, how many times you got to say it? Oh, it's a magnetic field. It's a magnetic field. It's a magnetic field. Okay. What happens when we put iron on the magnetic field? Well, it becomes magnetized. Can we put something out on our space station that's metal like that? Sure we can. Does it magnetize? No. God, no. That's in radiant field. It's telling you you're wrong the whole time. As soon as you say magnetosphere, you're wrong. And I hate to say it because I love the term, but it's generally wrong. There's not a lot of magnetism to it. Field flipped. I mean, seriously. You want to look at the crystalline form because that's what's creating the energy. Because it's creating the energy and you know it's working in radiation, then you understand it. You go, well, how do you know? Well, look at how crystals form. They literally tell you when you watch the video, Oh, it's creating a radiant field or creating radiation. They made this crystalline form. Seriously, you're you're telling me that just out of the blue? Yeah, that's what it's doing. That's how it's created. What kind of energy does it put off? Oh, it puts off a radiant energy into our atmosphere that creates our magnetosphere. Oh, not nickel iron core, huh? Hmm. Well, it might be a nickel iron core. Who knows? We're not down there. We're not going to find out. Unless we become gods and can go through the planet, which would be so interesting, by the way. But we'll never know. So, what do you start with? Well, you start with how it builds out and what fields you're seeing created. Then you build out your Earth based on that. Resonance, radiant fields, energy, crystalline structure. Man, you know, I'd love to sit here and agree with every scientist out there and go along with the BS. I'm just tired of it because it's a lie. It's a literal lie. Go out and ask NASA how much magnetism is there in space. Well, it's not a lot. I mean, it's not a lot. We got this giant magnetosphere, man. We've been telling it since we were kids. You shoved it all down our throats. Well, where's the damn magnetism? Well, I don't know. Okay. But if we have a radiant field that holds in radiation, it has our Van Allen belt, you go, well, hold on. This field holds in radiation in a Van Allen belt, you say. So this is the field we were looking for. This is the field that's holding things in or pushing them out. You go, well, why? Well, let's go back to the static electricity. In resonance, the static electricity is held in or pushed out. In resonance, the radiant field holds in or pushes out radiation. The Planck scale works so much different. The factor that you have to understand is the resonance. It's causing this effect. That's it. That resonance, man, it sure is a beast. If we could just learn resonance value of everything, we'd be so much further in society. You go, okay. How would you know they used it in the olden times? Well, we had Liz on, and she was talking about the same thing. She said she lived a past life in ancient Egypt and also in Atlantis. What did she talk about? Oh, well, they use resonance all the time, and all the devices are set up in resonance in order to create the energy fields that we're used to. And they had all their technology was based in it. Are you sure? Because that's what it seems like we're going to as a society now. Are you sure that they did that? Because that sounds too much like it's right, dead on perfect based on what we're learning now. And you go, oh, hold on. You're telling me they had this in the past. They show it on the walls of Egypt and hieroglyphs. They built a pyramid that shows you wavelengths as it goes down on the inside structure. And it can be activated in the quartz by radiant energy. Man, we got something here. It comes full circle, doesn't it? Again, I'd love to tell you tales out of school. I just want you to understand this. This is the circle that we have to look in. The energy's there. So over unity, anti-gravity. All of it's the same thing. All of it's the same fields. We create a circuit that is a primary mover. The field that is pulled into it because of the primary mover's circuitry, because of the field it's building, will pull in the radiant energy from the environment. That's it. That's all we have to do. So I ask you again, what is over unity? Define the answer and we'll get the correct questions. The problem is everybody who tells you about this deals in the closed circuit only. Okay. I guess that's all right. It's like dating your sister. You're never going to get anywhere, not anywhere good. I'm going to tell you right now, you got to expand your horizons, buddy. You can create a primary circuit and have that run itself or be close to running itself. The energy that is pulled in is your over unity. That's it. Okay. Now you got this whole big world to date from. You don't have to date your sister. Okay. That's it. That's the way it works. Now you can pull in all the energy you want. What is over unity? Well, how much energy is in the environment around us? Kind of the question you need to start asking yourself. It's not the understanding of the primary mover that really is exciting about any of this. I mean, it's got to be known that you can do negative electricity. You can pull to the negative like a PNP, but use an NPN. That's part of it. The bigger understanding is the environment. How did you know to pull in the environment? Well, when you understand the field that you're working in, you understand the environment that you're working in, you found an energy itself that matches the energy of the environment you're working in. Now it's just simply, can you make this one cohesive unit working together? The answer is yes. You see, when I use the radiant energy to put it in my rodent coil, it still runs for a minute afterward. That wire is far enough away, man, it's not doing anything. I put it right in front of the camera. I am lying to you in no way possible, man. I will show you that experiment. Flat out, it's on my channel. It does it. I call it a temperature differential. It's kind of a misnomer in a way. It is changing the temperature, and when the temperature of the inside rodent coil reaches the temperature of the outside, it'll stop the oscillation process, which then turns it off. But really, what am I doing? I'm learning how to pull the environment into it. I have a primary mover. I'm creating the best mousetrap ever. I am now sucking in the radiant energy into that coil. Man, is that something special. It's like the holy grail of physics, and they don't want to listen to it because they just go, oh, cold energy. Huh. Go eat another ice cream, buddy. Get out of here. We don't want to hear that. They can't hear it. They can't. Why? Well, because then, 70, 80, 100 years of physics is total poo? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Big steaming pile of it. Why? Because you failed to learn more. Not because it wasn't there, not because they didn't show it to you, because you failed to learn it. Takes some old fat guy sitting in his garage in order to tell you where it is. That's sad. How many billions of dollars did you get? I could do it for less than $100. That's so sad. But I'm not taking it out on you, man. I'm telling you how to build it. I'm trying to get you ahead further so that we can live in a different society. See, I do not want to live in this society where we're trying to play king of the hill. I want us all to live on the mountaintop. I want us all to do well. I won't patent it. I put it out there for everybody because I want us to do well. I want everybody to do well, not just me, not just to help my family and raise my standard of living. I want everybody's standards to come up at the same time. All boats rise with the tide. I'm just trying to create the tide to help you. So, yeah, man, that's the way it is. I don't like the state of physics today because it doesn't account for everything. If you come up with a new idea, they hate you. They absolutely hate your guts. They will not listen. You can put it right in front of their face and show them all day. What do they say? Wow, my funding's going to be cut off if I agree with you. I cannot go on camera and talk about it. I'm hiding behind a DOD patent. I cannot tell you about it. Buddy, I got news for you. Just so we all understand each other here. Sal Paez, I already know what the hell you did. I know what's behind your patents, and I can build it. So when you start talking out there and throwing out key phrase, I already understand it. I already know the process you're going through. I can replicate it. That comes with a big understanding too. How much do you want to show the DOD that you have it? How much do you want them to take everything? Guys, I got Tesla coils here. I got them over here. I got a whole garage full of them. You can make a museum out of what I got. How much am I ready to show the government that I got it? Are they ready to hear it? They already have it. Let's not lie to each other here. They already have it. They already have it. They've had it for a long time. You see, they won't let physicists talk about it because then you'll have the whole story. Then everybody will have it. I'm not for going against my country. Just understand that. But I also can't stand by and let you sit there and say, we don't have it, and lie to me. I also can't sit there and say, we're all living in squalor because you won't allow it out. So decide. How do you want to play this? I'll tell you, at some point, everybody's going to know it. Now, what does that mean for me? Well, it means that I'm going to be found in a ditch somewhere. That's what it means. That's okay. You got a very happy life. Let's find out. Don't play chicken. Let's play it. I don't know, man. You know, they send him out there in order so that his patent stands before everybody else so they can shut you down with a patent. Gerald was right. Yeah, he was right about that. That really screws him because he didn't go to the patent office and patent his stuff, and he should have. So I don't know what to tell you about that. There's a lot of people out there who have already created it before all of us. They should get their credit. On this channel, as I find them, I'll give them their credit. Don Smith, you know what I mean? Edwin Gray, they all had it. Every one of them. Heck, Otis T. Carr had it. Do you think that craft wasn't over Unity? I told you that a spool of wire can produce energy out of it to go into the negative. He's literally running that thing in the sky where all the positive energy is into it. He basically created a mini Tesla Wardenclyffe tower inside that machine that's able to pull the energy from the environment itself, creating over Unity in that UFO process in the environment. Guys, they don't need a beam of energy from the pyramid. I hate to tell you that. They do not need it. Sit up right there in our atmosphere and turn on their machine and it creates over Unity. They do not need a pyramid to give them energy to their spacecraft. Sorry, they don't. They never have. Go look again. Otis T. Carr, OTCX1, produces over Unity. Works on resonance. Always has, always will. Oh, so many times, man, do we look at things wrong. Why do I think Wardenclyffe Tower is the same thing as Tesla's radiant energy? I don't know. Maybe it just pulls in the energy from the environment that it is, creates a vortex, pulls it in, brings it down. The energy comes in from the ground itself, so he creates a midway point between the two. You can run it right over his factory based on the winding. What did he do differently that would make me change my mind or anything else? For the way we all used to think about it in energy being produced in the atmosphere. Well, Energy is already in the atmosphere. He doesn't need to produce it. It's already there. What is he doing? He's producing it in the water. When you get into radiant energy on the negative side instead of the positive side, you're not getting a harmful effect. That energy is not harmful at all. Think about that. The positive is, the hot side is, absolutely is. Negative isn't. It avoids things in Sean's Tesla coil, pulls in energy from the earth. It acts as a draw to the energy. Now you have energy all over the earth in the water. Everything will grow better because of it. So if you're doing that in a pyramid, what happens if you put pyramids all over the world? What do you think happens? Terraforming anyone? Holding an environment that does not flip the north and south fields ever? How many more years can we live on that? How much more longevity can we get? Yeah, I agree. Wardenclyffe was a harvester of energy. Was not a transmitter of it. You see, complete the circuit. Do it. You can put energy right into the ground from your testicle. I've done it. I put it right into the water table. Put it right in the water. What happened? The water produces the energy in the field that you can stand in and hold a light bulb in. And man, it'll turn on the light bulb beautifully by exciting the gas in a radiant field. I could stand there all day in it and not get one single shock. It's radiant energy. It is not positive energy. It is not walled energy. It is literally radiant energy. It works different. Okay. Take that to the Wardenclyffe. They literally ran a rod into the ground and put a bunch of different rods to the bedrock, and they put it into the water table. I say, well, can you also pull that energy through? Well, depends on how you want to do it. Think of it like this. Energy pulls in from the sky, goes down, wraps around a wooden post. Very important that you understand that part. At that point, you can pull the energy off. Okay. The negative comes through the ground to that energy. So now it has the static portion, which is your voltage. It has the amperage portion here. It can be pulled off and run to any building. You could do that. If you chose not to do that and you ran it to the ground, what would happen? The energy transfers from the upper sky all the way through into the ground, hits the water table. The water table puts out the radiant energy. Now it'll glow your light bulbs all around the world. Producing energy in water. All you have to have is a stream by you in order to pull up the energy. As long as it goes to the ocean at some point, you're going to be able to create contact. If you pulse salt water, what happens? You make a saltwater battery. If you continue to pulse it and set the value to it, you'll have a battery at all times. So interesting. We're not changing any physics here. All this is known. We're just putting in the correct order of what things are doing. We never needed to transmit energy through the air. It's already there. We needed to create a better mousetrap. We needed to create the environment to pull that in. That's what you needed. Do it in the wrong way and you'll have repercussions. I warn you of that. You do not want to create vortexes. You see, people think, there's another thing that bothers me. They say vortexes are closed. Well, yeah, they are. But you do know they open. There's an in and an out, and in the middle is your vortex. Two tubes connected to each other, but there's a hole in the middle. You can pass right through them and pass through time. You can also pass through the energy. Does it speed up? Does it slow down? It depends on which side of the vortex you go through and which way it was created. But it's not just a closed thing. You don't just go through in the energy, you physically pass through. There was a guy who was flying an airplane out in Miami who went through one of these things, and he described it as a tornado and it sucked him through there. Now, it didn't feel like his propeller was doing anything. His plane doesn't move a whole lot, but the vortex sucked him through, spit him out on the other side. His fuel looked like he was running for an hour. The amount of distance would mean that he should be almost out of fuel. It was a simple indicator that he had gone through some type of vortex in there that was able to suspend time for a while as he passed through it. It not only did that, it pulled him through it. So, he had a time dilation field in a vortex that was created by the environment around him. How it was done, how he got to there without anything else, we don't know. We can take his account for it and disbelieve it, or you can believe it for what it is. Traveling in time through this vortex. Philadelphia experiment runs about the same way. How do you get from one place to the other? Can you reduce the amount of time it takes to get there? More important to this, can you reverse time itself? Can you go backwards in time? Those are two instances where they showed you going forward in time, but it changed the time around you to slow down. What if you just wanted to go backwards through time? F equals 1 over t. Frequency equals 1 over time. Is it written wrong? F equals I over t. F equals the energy over time. It's something to think about. I don't have the answers. I'd love to. I'd love to time travel and find out. I do not have the answers to that. I can tell you right now, though, free energy is within our grasp. Over unity is real. As soon as you decide what over unity is and that the environment, how much you could pull in from it, we're going to get a lot further. That's the start of it. Now, look, maybe sometime in the future when people investigate this the right way, maybe some of the stuff I say would have been pointing in the right direction, but ultimately incorrect. And I'm willing to live with that. What I'm not willing to live with is, well, we already tried. We can already define it. The stick is so far up our butts, we're not changing. That's what I can't live with. Because they're wrong right now. And we have scientific experiments in order to show that. So, yeah, not believing in any way, shape, or form that they see it or that they're allowed to say they could see it. Sad. It's really sad. I want to see the next level of technology. I want to have the Star Trek technology now in the times that I live in. Not in the future. I want it before we destroy ourselves. You do realize the weapons that they're working with are resonance weapons. That's the next level of technology that we're not understanding. Crowd control, resonance, be able to work, on different scales. Things that I can't talk about on YouTube happen when they put out those weapons. It affects you in a different way. It's biblical. It's like the Ark of the Covenant. It's describing what you get out of there in resonance when they describe the Ark of the Covenant. We are at that level of tech. That's what scares me. We already have it. They don't want to tell you about it. They use it and they try to tell you it's something different. I could right now create a directed energy laser. Then I can use the resonance in that same system in order to phase shift stuff, in order to create the whole thing as a phaser, okay? Without a problem doing it. It's a simple matter of how you connect it and which resonance you wanted to play with and how many fields you have to play with. directed energy weapon that works just like that. They have it. They have to have it. Some fat old man sitting in his garage can build it. They've done it. Okay? Sorry, man. Tesla was right. This world is absolutely his. He created it. He understood it. However you want to say it. That man is the genius, not Einstein. Einstein said it himself. When they asked him how the smartest man in the room ever feels, he goes, I don't know. I'm not Nikola Tesla. He's right. Nikola Tesla is the smartest guy in the room. Always has been, always will be. Why? He was relentless in his pursuit of understanding experimentation. That's why. I would love to someday see everybody on that level. Relentlessly pursue this and understand it. Keep us out of the danger zone by providing the free energy that we need. Man, I'd love to go up to a system and punch in some buttons and get some food. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you love to eliminate world hunger when doing it? Wouldn't you love to just turn something on in some country that has nothing and give them everything? Wouldn't you love for them to be on the same level as you in their understanding and work as a cohesive society to move forward? Those are the things I want. I don't want everybody fighting each other. There's no point. We're all human. Get over it. I don't care anything about your skin color. I don't care anything about anything else. We're all human. Get over it. Just get over it. I don't care which hole you go into. Just get over it. Buddy, we're all the same. At some point, our DNA is all the same. I don't care how they want to cut it up and try to divide us. In order for us to move forward as a society, we have to understand this and do it together. We are literally going to have to do it together. One of the strongest ways and best ways to do that is to give everybody the same thing, put us all on the same playing field, and stop everybody in power from trying to destroy each other. Oh, I don't know how it all is going to work out in the end, guys, whether we got to restart society or not, or if we're finally going to make it through this time. God, I hope and I live in the time and we make it through. God, I hope it's this time. You know, if you travel through history, there's great civilizations that rise and fall, and they always fail for the same reason. Some imbecile got voted into power because we didn't check their power, and they decided to screw up everything. Nah, not talking politics to you. I'm just talking the world and the way it works. We always do it. And I don't care which side you're on, we always do it. We always screw things up. You know, a lot of this, guys, I don't have to tell anybody this. I don't have to tell you how the energy works. I don't have to come out here and do this. I make in 1 month doing this channel what I normally would in 1 hour working normally. That's pretty ridiculous, isn't it? I know, just starting point, man. You can get on with it. You can make more money on this thing, become more popular, all that. I tend to piss everybody off. Okay? I really do. I have some knack for pissing everybody and their mother off for whatever reason. Sorry. God sent me here to piss the world off. Apparently, that's what I do best. But what I'm telling you is absolutely true. It absolutely works that way. Do the testing. This is not going to be in a patent, guys. They can't put it in a patent. As soon as you go down there, you can have all the proof in the world. They're going to deny your patent, or the government's going to step in and say, this is DOD. You can't have it. We're going to take everything. And by the way, you can't talk about it. That's exactly what will happen. So the only way to get it out is to show experiments, to go out and do the work, to give it to you and tell you about it, to get you to understand what it's doing, for you to do the experimentation. Now, Everybody that has done the experimentation exactly the way I told them to do it has reproduced the same effects that I have. Not lying to you about it. I've even given you the exact way to build the Tesla coils that I do so that you may do it. You see, I want you to repeat the experiment. I want you to learn from it. I want you to do the same things. I want you to see the plants grow faster. I want you to be able to see what happens when you put the energy into the water, how it breaks things that you're normally seeing, how it is just like the hairpin circuit and the radiant energy is building. All of it's there. Build the coil. Build the coil, man. You're going to find it out. There's a lot of people out there. I've seen at least 20 people who built this coil, and they're finding the same thing I do. It's starting to be one of those things on the internet that people are starting to do. They're finding the extra energy, and they're finding that it's much, much different than what they thought it was. You know, I'm out here telling you it's radiant, not static. It's not magnetic. It's radiant. What was the biggest clue to all of it? It was resonance. It's literally oscillating two opposite fields. How did we think it wasn't changing it? That's what I want to know. I feel stupid for not knowing it. I'll be honest with you. I was just sitting there one day and going, well, man, why is it so different? Why is it doing this at a low voltage, producing this huge field? Why? And I started to realize, Nathan, as much as you define it, you're creating a longitudinal wave to create a transverse wave. Yet they do not operate when in resonance together the same exact way that you think they do. It was right in front of me the whole time. I didn't even see it. Man, I've been doing this for a long time, guys. I didn't see it. It's because of the fact of what it's doing. It's the two in oscillation with each other that changes the outcome of everything. It becomes radiant, not one thing over the other. It's the fields produce something together. Man. Sometimes I have to eat crow, guys. Tell you when I'm wrong. Tell you when we have something that's different. Because as much as I want to come out here and tell you I have everything right, I don't. But I go based on what I'm building. If I build it that way, and I see it that way, and I see that it works that way, I have to tell you in that way. I will not stand up here or sit down here and tell you that my light bulb is putting out the energy that it says on there in wattage, because that's a lie. It is just a lie. Using a different energy source. The only way to know for sure is to loop it. Once your meter tells you you have enough energy, create a bypass and loop it. Okay? That's it. Don't mess around making me look at every meter. Everybody who's watching this wants to see the same exact thing. Loop this system and prove it. Put it out there. Put up or shut up. We want to see it. Okay? Not an explanation of it, not a multimeter. We want to see it. I understand that's the standard. I know that at some point in the future, I have to put that out there as well. For those who say they already have it, put it out. Hey, we had Eli or Elijah come on. Let me tell you, man. He hooked that thing up with his battery, and he had that thing running, man. He had, what was it? He had that circuit working, man. And it continued to run. Okay? Oh, man, I can't think of the inventor right now that he got it from, and I know everybody knows it. But he got the thing to run, and it was running for, 3 days straight? No issues. All was running. No problem. He understood the battery aspect and everything, and he still ran, and the battery was on 0% or -1. John Bedini circuit. That's what he ran. I don't know. That's pretty good, man. Yeah, but Bedini motor, it was pretty good, man. I won't deny you, man. He got me with that one. He was picking up resonant fields throughout the room as he was running it. He was getting the environment to work for him. He very specifically said in different parts of the environment, it was changing the field. Where was the vortex coming from? It was created by the environment in the room. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? I guess we're all going to have to do the loop, aren't we? Every single inventor out there, you want to say you push over Unity on the channel, show us first a Unity, and then we'll start to look at your over Unity. Do not show it on a meter, put it on a loop. I think it's important. Matter of fact, I think it's probably one of the most important things. And I don't care which side you pull the energy from, okay? I'm not over here. I'm not a critic. I want to be a fan. I want to love your work. I will push you on this channel all day long if that's what you show me. In any way you can do it, show it. And I don't care if you're barely getting there, man. You show it. Maybe people on this channel can help you get over the hump and get it all working right. That's what we're here for. I have fun with the guys that work with me. We like to laugh a little bit and joke with each other. But when you come on, man, it's your platform, it's your stage. I will sit back and just ask you the questions in order to get to the point. Other than that, man, it's free for you to go on here and tell us what you do. Yeah. I think once people understand this whole radiant energy thing and they see it and they start playing with it, their mind is blown. I don't know how many people I've seen do the hairpin circuit, and when they finally have it, their mind is absolutely shattered, man. They don't know. They didn't understand. This whole field, man, it's like, wow. Dennis understands. Dennis built the coil. Dennis has been using the radiant energy. It is so much different. Anyway, guys, I'm done talking. Let's talk to the chat. Sorry, guys, I haven't been able to talk with you. I've been going off. So I researched reverse engineers in the past, 1-to-1. Yeah. A lot of them say they have it, man. You're a newbie. Won't be me. Well, hey, it could be. Some people out of the gate understand it because they understood it the right way. Let's see. Bedini said, look for the effect, and it's manifested in his battery. Yeah, it is. Why? Because he fills it up with different energy. He's a different source. I did not see a full bridge rectifier going into there. I saw that the energy from the circuit itself was going into there. And he very specifically told you not to use neodymium magnets. Why? The heat. He couldn't dissipate the heat fast enough. Think about that. Here this man is telling you that he has this thing, and he's telling you exactly not to use neodymium magnets. I cannot tell you how many people go out and do it anyway. Change them. Do not want the heat. You say, well, I can change the heat of distance. Yes, you can. But if you're a newbie to this, you're going to put it right up next to it, and you're going to fail. Mike Faraday tells you the same thing. He says, hey, Faraday research. Keep it away from it because the heat becomes too great and ruins your system because you're field flipping it and you didn't realize it. It's the same thing with a Tesla coil. Put too big of a rod in there, you've already field flipped. You're missing it. A small rod in there. Works fine. Oh, man. Channel is epic. Well, thank you for that, man. I think it has to do with everybody on it. Let me just say this. I do not do this alone, guys, at all. Joe's on the channel all the time. Joe's awesome. Sean's on the channel, when he feels up to it. Sean is one unbelievable testicle maker, man. Guys, I wanted to share something with you just a little bit, if you guys don't mind. I'm going to show you Joe. He went out, and I just want to show this. Joe the miner. Joe went out and did quartz mining on the channel, and it was so awesome. So he pulled out these quartz right here, and I'll show you at the end when I play the end how every one of them look out there. He's asking for a little bit of support, guys, in order to get you guys there. He wants to go out and do the mining again. So Joe, when I get paid, I'm going to send you some money as well. I think it's going to be important, man, that we get him up and going. He had fun out there, man. That was hard work. Yeah. See the fat guy out there pounding rocks, man. Let me tell you something, dude. It was awesome because he would literally take this rock and he'd take his little hammer, whack it a couple times till it broke down, and he'd say, "Hey, here it is, here it is." Sure enough, man, he was pulling them out like they were nothing. So awesome job, Joe. We got to see him out there doing this, man. That was such an awesome show. So, yeah, I'll leave the link in the description for everybody so that we can support Joe in this. I'll put that in there right now. Joe, we want to see you out there mining again, man. You did a great job. I want to say this to Sean as well. Sean, I hope you get better soon. For those of you who don't know, Sean had an outpatient surgery, and it's taken a little while to get over it. He's in good spirits, and he's communicating with me quite often. Trust me, I would rather him be here on Wednesday than me, because I absolutely love his presentations. He does amazing work with the coils. I mean, Sean's on another level, man. For as much as I know about these things, that guy's still on another level. And he started out that way. He had these things that were like AC flybacks, but they're Tesla coils, and God, they are so awesome. They're changing fields. They're changing everything in them. The pictures that come out of this thing, man, when he shows it to you, man, awesome. But I could tell you this. If all Sean does is be my friend for the rest of his life, man, I would accept that. I don't have to see one single more Tesla coil experiment. That man is an amazing person, and I enjoy his company when he's on the show, man, his enthusiasm for everything. Sean, I hope you get better soon, buddy. Everybody misses you, man. Everybody loves seeing your work. Everybody loves hearing you talk, man. Such an awesome person. Like I told him before, if he wanted to do this show every day, man, I would do it with him and sit in the background and just help him out in any way I possibly could, because Sean is one of the most awesome people I've ever met. So, Sean, I hope you get better soon. I hope to see you back here and doing your thing, man. Yeah. Sean, get better, man. We all want to see you. So, yeah. Yeah, he is super humble. Sounds awesome. Man, you guys are awesome in the chat too, man. A lot of you have come on, and I'm reworking some of the stuff that I do on my exit video to put all your guys' pictures on there for all the people that come on and shared with us on our channel. I think it's important to recognize the inventors. For those of you who don't know, I do a podcast channel, and I've highlighted all of them on there. I have a few more to finish up, and we'll get all of them on there and get all the new people that come in from there on that podcast as well. One of the reasons I did this, guys, is simple. I wanted to create something that you can watch on your phone, so you have the show anytime you want to watch it. It also shows up on YouTube Music, so you'll be able to pull it up through the app, and you'll be able to enjoy the show and what we do here. So, Sean's presentations come out great. John Bigman came on, man. The guy's an amazing person, so smart. That's one of the reasons you let everybody talk, because, man, you're going to learn something. A lot of these people are smarter than I am, man, and I'm not afraid to say it. Joe and I are on there, and the first time that we talked about is Special Rock. Dude, amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, yeah, I got a lot more stuff going on there, man. So, I like to write stories and put them on there as well. I open this up to anybody who wants to get on there and do it. If you want to write like a 2.5 page story or something like that, and you want it published on there, and you want an AI voice to do it, or if you just want to clone your voice on there and go on 11 Labs and do it, you could do that, and I'll post it up there. The only couple criteria I have is you can't talk medical, and just keep the cussing to a minimum. I understand making a point with it, but garbage mouth is not. It's something I'm going to put on there. But yeah, if anybody wants to do that, man, by all means, submit it. Let me know. My email, it's on my page at all times. Contact me and we'll get it set up. If you need help with the AI conversion over, on your voice, not a problem. I'll help you out with that as well. I'll do it for you if that's what it needs. Like I said, 2.5 pages usually. Put a short story on there, man. It'd be awesome. I'd love to hear from you guys. You guys have great stories. If you have a UFO story you want to put on there, even better, man. Those absolute love them. So I'll leave that out there for you guys. If you want to do it, just contact me. I'll put my email right here in the chat for you guys. There you go. It's in there for you. So, yeah, man, we're doing great. I think some of these things, man, are going to turn out really well for us. Oh, movie has a lot of F-bombs. Yeah, I clean those things up, man, by coming on the air talking to you folks. Sound like a drunken sailor half the time, sitting in my garage cursing when I bust a coil, or I shoot a bunch of lightning through it, man, and it tears it to pieces. Man, I got a coil. Let me grab it real quick. This is the Tesla coil I built with Sean, and it's got scars for days. Look at that. Now it burned it right through it. Just had a loose wire, fried it. But that wasn't the only injury it did, man. I let the wire loose with too much power on the inside, so it ripped it through the inside first. That was a different experiment. You could see the deep channel in there towards the top. It definitely, man, had better days. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can see the channel. Look at that. It basically meant all the winding on the outside was junk at that point. Whether it looked like it or not, it was never going to work. It was just going to go right through it right there. Busted out on the outside as well. Now this is it's going to go on the shelf. A little bit of winding that still worked. Let's do a different experiment with that. That's going to go on the shelf, man, as a souvenir. That that was a giant thing. It cut right through there, and believe it or not, man, that was 20 volts on that Tesla coil, and it was ripping it. So that energy, when you put it down the center, it's a different energy, man. But if it touches the side, it's just gonna right on through it. So yeah, some funny things happen when you work with these. I thought about just leaving it without dewinding a little bit, but I needed something for another project, so I had to calculate the resonance value at just a little bit more than my standard coil. So I did it. I might just rewind it and put it on the shelf, to be very honest with you. Just like I said, it's a souvenir. It was the first one that I got my AC working on. It was a beautiful coil. Man, did that thing run. I created another one just like it. You can see it over my shoulder right over here. You see that one? I got it over there, man. That thing rips it, man. 245 kilohertz, man. It just God, you don't want to be in the room next to it. At 10 volts, you don't want to be in the room next to it. That resonant field is amazing. So the center rod, it was actually a wire. Now, I didn't say this a whole lot, man, but Joe pointed it out, and he was right. We're compressing a field in the center, so why use an open rod when you can use a wire with insulation to have the insulation hold in? Then compound the compression. Even I can learn. Yeah, that's what it was doing. Love the wire. I mean, use solid copper wire with an insulation over it, just basically 14 gauge wire from your wall. That's what I used. And it produced one heck of a field at 14 volts, man. 10 volts, 14 volts, oscillate this sucker. That number 1 coil that I built, man, that thing is amazing. So hold on, let me grab that. Now, I built this with all the winding perfectly from one another. Man, does that make a difference in resonance. Each level, beautiful, just beautiful. Makes the resonance so much easier to find. So this coil right here, like I said, built the same way as that one used to be. And it's amazing. I tried to round these on the end. That was a mistake. Better off leaving them square. The print doesn't come out as well. But one of the only ones that I did that's not some kind of, glow in the dark, stuff like that, man. But that thing, man, it rips it. All day it rips it. And having those coils set up like that was the biggest difference. Now, I will say this, the thing is a little hard to wind. The spacing between each one is probably too close. Maybe half the amount would be awesome. It would, because this stuff is so thick, it wouldn't have a problem keeping the stable adjustment between them. So the distance, we can cut that down and maybe remove one. On every other one, remove it. And it would probably be faster winding for everybody. I noticed doing this, it takes a little technique to do it. So if we cut that down, man, maybe we can make the technique a little easier. So I'll work on that and get that STL out for everybody. So, and then, that Tesla coil, man, best Tesla coil ever for a ZVS. Put that thing on a Slayer exciter. Oh, man. That way to do it on a Slayer exciter, it's self-oscillating. So it's also forced oscillation. So it'll self-correct itself. That's what's cool. You go, well, what's the value of the number 1 coil? What's the value of the number 2 coil? Tell you what, Slayer exciter does not care. It just does not care. When you run it on the PNP circuit like I do, man, it runs all day at 40 volts. 4.5 foot field, no problem. Not a problem. Yeah. That thing, that field, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I turned these, just the number 2 coil on this thing, man. I got a bunch of them. I don't even bother putting a number 1 coil on them. Because I'll take something like this and turn it on, and it'll turn on all the rest of them in my room. Got a standard garage here, 2-car garage, turns on every single one of them in the room. One to the next, to the next, to the next. I did it one time, man, and I didn't really realize this, and I guess I should have. Every bit of wire you put to it changes the resonance value. So when I had my grounding wire here, right, you put this little extra wire sitting on there, and I had this on one of the other number 2 coils because I was just doing another experiment and I didn't cut it off. It took a long time to put that sucker in resonance with the rest of them because I had to find an in-between value. And it took a little while, but we got there. Ian sent me his cap bank. It was so awesome, man. This thing puts everything in resonance quick. You just got to watch the heat level on your main MOSFETs. You got to have a fan on them at all times because it will put up a little back heat to it when you're in the wrong resonance. But yeah, man, this thing is just, it's unreal what it does. I had somebody ask me today through the LCR meter that I have behind me what the values of it are, and I said, well, it depends on which way you run it, and it's absolutely true. I run on radio frequency on mine, so when I test it, I put a 20 ohm resistor there on the number 2 coil at the base. Then I connect the frequency generator one side, and I correct the probe to the other side, and then I put it through the coil and see what the frequency is and see where the spikes come on my frequency generator, which one it spikes the hardest. Through that, I can map the resonance field of this thing. Every single spot I find the spike is a resonance field. So if I built the coil to every single one of those numbers, I'd have coils that are shorter in size but resonate the same as this, because it'd be in quarter, halves, eighths, whatever wave you want to say it is, it'd be in those to the primary runner. Isn't that smart? Don Smith. I keep saying it. The man told you he was doing this, and he's 100% right. He did. He definitely did. Oh, man. The things we do with Tesla coils. Now, go back to the LCR meter. Basically, that gives you the entire inductance of the coil itself, tells you where you need to be in the capacitance to the secondary coil. Take the inductance of both, do your math, understand the capacitance level you have to put in for the capacitors to the number 1 coil in order to get to oscillate. In radio frequency method, I move the clip everywhere. So the RCR method doesn't work with the radio frequency method in that way. I don't need the value of the entire coil. I need to move the clip where it's supposed to go. So an LCR meter doesn't mean anything to me in this instance for what I'm doing. If I just wanted the wire to attach here and then come out to the top right over here where it goes, then it would work. And it still worked the same. It's not going to be the same value, but now I have to recalculate everything based on the radio frequency method in order to change it to get all the smaller coils in order to put them in oscillation with each other and create my harmonics. Oh, there's something for everybody. Why would you want to create your harmonics in that? I don't know. Maybe you want to expand your understanding of a Tesla coil. Maybe you want to see what it really is doing. Not built on just one field. We all know that. Anybody who's done Tesla coils should be able to find that out easily. They go, well, this is the weaker field. Then it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Well, did you stop and think that you got different fields going on? How many fields total do you get in there? You say, well, I got 6 fields. You have 6 points of harmonic. Okay. I understood it. It's in 6. So now I can divide it out. You go, well, hey, hold on. You got a ring. It's not a ring like this. It's a ring in a vortex, and now I have harmonics in a vortex. Now I'm looking at it and going, can't you create transmutation through this thing? Well, maybe. Why are the things not lining up the way you think they do? Well, because you didn't understand what it was doing in the first place. Your oscilloscope is one of your greatest helps, but one of your greatest hindrances, because your oscilloscope is not telling you things in 3D, it tells you things in 2D, so you must now see them the correct way in 3D. If the oscilloscope showed you in 3D, the answer would be easy. You go, well, that's not a ring, that's a harmonics tornado right there, that's a vortex. Oh, really? Huh. Wow. Yeah, 3D print, man. We're gonna have to do that again on these coils. I'm gonna have to come out with some new ones, guys, because Yeah, you find some things that work, some things that don't work. I created another smaller one because made a 1 megahertz Tesla coil for a Charlie C, and I created a second coil for them that was out of the 1 kilohertz range. But as soon as you connect your gravity flyer to it, it pushed it back into it because the value changed once you put the rod down the center attached to your gravity flyer because of the amount of mass there in metal. So it just changed the value of it. So I built both in case he wanted to do that experiment as well. So he has that. I built it in PNP, and then I did build it also in NPN. So he has both of them. Both of them go up to 40 volts very easily and will run all day. They run with a little fan that I connect them on from a CPU cooler, which is the Ryzen, and it's one with non RGB on it. And this thing will, as long as you hook up the fan, man, that'll cool it for a long time. 40 volts. I've left it on all day, overnight, everything. Never had a problem with it. 40 volts. I don't go over that. Don't even play with it. Just stay under that and you'll be good to go. It'll run all day. Stay cool. So, also wanted to try something that Dennis was telling me. And when you build the coil, around this area right here, okay, put a ring around there. And the idea is this. It doesn't attach to anything. It just sits around it. So why would I do it? Well, that ring right there, and I've seen a lot of it say it's a spark over ring. Well, it's not the reason I wanted to use it. The reason I want it there is I wanted to have something close enough to the coil where it'll affect the resonance value, but then my body capacitance does not affect the value of the coil at the same distance anymore. That is now negated by that ring. Now, I wanted to test that theory because I think it's important to test it, because that right there, if I can remove that, then man, yeah, we got this nice, cool thing going on, right? What's going on, Mike? Everybody loves your pulse motor, buddy. Anyway, it's Renegade's awesome. But understand this, if I put that ring around there, what am I doing? I want to take my body capacitance out of it. So, yeah, that's what Dennis and I were talking about. See, I can learn, guys. The people in the chat are smart, man. They push you in the right direction. So, yeah, we talked about it. That's one of the next STLs I want to do and test it out. You know, it's a simple print on your printer, not a problem. Be able to build that out, no problem when I build another coil. I'm going to do it with my smaller coil, so my 2.5-inch diameter pipe. I'm going to put it on that one on the thing I used there because it's a faster print. And then we're going to test it out. If we can negate that body capacitance issue, we can stop this thing from fluctuating, guys, when we're in the room. That's a big thing. Because anytime you come next to your Tesla coil, you're adjusting the Tesla coil, whether you know it or not. It's just your body capacitance. So if we can fix that, man, that's a big step in doing this. So Tesla coils get even better. And that's kind of the goal here. I'm attacking it from a traditional Tesla coil point of view. Sean's attacking it from a completely different point of view. And then every time we turn around, then Ian's doing some awesome work. Dude, he replicates all of it. So he's done my one wire experiment. He's done Sean's Tesla coils. He's done the what is it, Death Star coil. He's done the golden coil, the round one. He's done all of them, man. Yeah. Elijah says he's been chasing capacitance for 5 days. Nice. He got tired. Right here, guys. Negrez coils. One of my favorite shows, man. Wine bottle coils. Man, I tell you, everybody does something cool. Then they watch this channel. They come on here, man. We got other big channels on here that they go out there and do things, man. I appreciate everybody, guys. So I just want to tell you that. I really do appreciate you guys out there. I try to answer my email as much as I can to get back with everybody. As a matter of fact, Cody just sent me something on my email, and he was researching. I'm trying to think of the name of the inventor. he was researching inventor, and I'm going to go ahead and put that on my AI thing and put it on my podcast. But he had a lot of valuable information. I get books all the time that are on PDF, and I try to transfer those over so everybody has them. Oh, man. Kurt Benikoff. If you ever want to learn something about a compressed field, go listen to him, man. I have it up. It's one of my PDFs. Beautiful understanding of it. And I really enjoyed that one myself, man. As I get to listen to it 3 or 4 times as I'm putting it through the AI voice, and man, it comes out great. It's truly awesome. He really understood it. It was a big part of everything, man. So with that said, guys, it's been about 2.5 hours. I'm going to take off out of here. Like I said, I'm going to put up Joe's thing one more time for you guys to see it as I take off out of here. If you got a couple bucks, man, throw it to them so that we can get them out there and digging in the dirt again, and we can get some more cool crystals, some more quartz out of there, man. So with that said, man, thank you guys for everything. Thank you for listening today. I really do appreciate it. And have yourself a great day.
The old man builds. 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 The old man builds is broken in the head. People not seeing reality has put them in the red. Where conscious and spirituality restricted from the norm and replaced with the ignorance of basic magnetic form. The geometry of God keeps running through his head. That's what makes old man builds broken in the head. The old man builds. The old man builds. Spheres of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time, battling the establishment for just a little recognition. Has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to instead. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. Fears of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time, battling the establishment for just a little recognition. Has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to extend. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. Fears of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time, battling the establishment for just a little recognition. Has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to extend. The old man builds.